Alright, hey guys, today we're doing a new video in Adobe After Effects and I will be going over how to get that sky replacement. You can get some really neat effects, and again we're going to go over a little bit of color correcting, and the majority of it will be that sky replacement, which is a really cool but also a very quick effect in After Effects. What's really nice is I have finished high school, so I have a bit of time to upload videos now. And it will be a lot of content based on Adobe After Effects editing tutorials and stuff like that, but I was thinking of doing a video on my entire high school experience, and we'll see how that turns out. Without further ado, I think we can jump into this video. So I'm gonna start off in a new composition, and because I have a vertical image, it will be set opposite of what yours will probably be. So I'm going to create that composition and drag in my media, which is this image right here. And I'm just going to scale it. Alright, that looks good. So what I just wanted to mention before I go into the actual editing part is that when you have this and you're trying to do the sky replacement, it's a lot easier when, again, the sky is a different color than the rest of your footage. That's going to save a bit of time. Again, this sky is very similar to the back wall and the shirt, so it's going to take a little bit more effort to get that effect. And other than that, we just want to have soft light, so we don't want harsh shadows on our person's face or anything like that. And that just makes it easier because we can put any image in the background and not have to worry about playing around with shadows and stuff like that. So this is overall a pretty good image. Again, we don't want it shaking or moving around too much because then we'll have to motion track the mask, but this is looking pretty good. Now all we're going to do is go into our effects and presets, and we're either going to use Keylight, which is built into After Effects. Again, it's this one right here, or we're going to use linear color key. So I recommend trying both of them out, seeing which one works better depending on the colors and depending on how your images or videos are set up. Either one will work better in different situations. In this one, linear color key is going to work better. I find when it's like a solid green screen or it's a solid blue screen, I'd use Keylight. But for now, we're going to use linear color key, and again, it instantly cut out everything that we needed in that background, but it got rid of some of the shirt and it got rid of some of the wall. So you can try playing around with these settings and trying to get it to match out with how you want it. But for us, it's actually easier just to set a mask. So I'm going to grab the pen tool. I'm going to zoom in here. Just really quickly create a mask around out. Oops. Pen tool. And just like that. So once we create that mask, we're going to duplicate the layer. Now the top layer does, okay, let's see, the top layer doesn't need the mask, and the bottom layer doesn't need the key. So there we go. You can see a little bit of it actually overlapping here. So again, if you have any of that, just increase your mask feather a little bit and just blend it in. So again, that looks pretty good. We have our footage, our subject still in focus, looking good, and we have that background taken out. So now we can add in our galaxy texture. Galaxy texture. Grab anyone from here. Let's go with this. This one looks pretty neat, so let's use this one for now. Just gonna drop it, and we're gonna drag it right to the bottom. Oops. And then you can play around with how many stars and stuff you want to actually see in the background. So again, you can scale it down and you can position it if you want different sections. So I want to get this part in here. Maybe something like that looks good. Alright, and then it's just simple color correcting. So just gonna do some quick color correcting. Gonna go layer, new adjustment layer. And we want, let's see, we want curves. Maybe levels. Nice, and trying to think if we need anything else on this. Curves, levels. I'll start with this. So I'm just gonna do really simple color correcting. I'm gonna drag that, darken it a little bit. You know, we want this down, want this one up. It's good. And levels. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add a vignette to this image. So the way that you do that is just create a very quick circle mask around your subject. Something like this. And once you have that set up, I'm going to go into my mask. Set it to subtract. And then I'm going to increase the mask feather a little bit. Alright, and now I'm going to add in a fast blur. And we're going to throw that in there. And this is going to make it a lot easier to see what we're actually doing if I crank this up. So it's sort of adding the color correction to the edges and then having it fade towards the center. So again, we can drop that, it doesn't have to be as high. That's going to give us a nice sort of blur and focus effect on our subject. That looks pretty nice. And then, you know what, for the fun of it, why don't we just throw in chromatic aberration. We'll just end off this tutorial. Oh, we actually want this on a separate one, on a separate adjustment layer. Drop back the distortion and the blur. It's the radial blur. Nice. Nice, so that gives us a little bit of RGB displacement around the edges. Again, we have a nice focus on our subject, and we have that really, really nice sky replacement effect, which is now blended perfectly with our linear color key. So that was the tutorial for today. Again, I'll be posting a lot more on YouTube in the future, so make sure you guys subscribe and hit that like button, and thank you all for watching.